fun and exciting. And one of the ways that we do that is through our cheetah runs. Now the cheetah runs that you're going to see here are going to look a little bit different than what you might expect a cheetah to be running for out in Africa. So cheetahs out in the wild, they are running for survival. They are not always guaranteed a meal. They only catch their prey around 50% of the time. Now our cheetahs here at Busch Gardens, we offer them 100% of their food every single day, no matter what. Whether they run or not, they're always going to get their food. So the purpose of the run changes. Instead of for survival, it's going to be for fun. It's going to be for physical and mental exercise. So in order to be able to run our cheetahs here at Busch Gardens, you're going to notice we have some setup that goes on, which is what you would see the trainers behind me doing. So we set up a series of pulleys that is going to create a pathway for our cheetahs to run. Today we are setting up a pathway that goes down and back, which is going to allow us to build some incredible speed and acceleration from cheat. Now we are able to mix up those patterns depending on the goals that we want to achieve. Sometimes we'll have them go around trees, around rocks, zigzag patterns. There's lots of different ways that we can add variability. But once we have that pathway set up, we're going to take a long green string and feed it through those pulleys all the way back to the machine on the far left-hand corner of the habitat. Now that machine is the powerhouse of our run setup. It's actually connected to a car battery, believe it or not. So it is able to reach speeds as fast, if not faster, than our cheetahs. Now speaking of speeds, cheetahs are the world's fastest land mammal. Can anyone shout it out how fast they think a cheetah can run? All right, I heard a lot of correct answers. You guys are spot on. So 60 to 70 miles per hour are the top speeds that we typically see from cheetahs, not only out in the wild, but also right here at Busch Gardens. So one of our record holder cheetahs has been clocked in at 64 miles per hour, which is incredibly impressive. Now that cheetah, her name is Dave. She is 12 years old. She's one of our oldest, and that is actually Chi's sister. So she definitely has the ability to reach those top speeds as well. Cheetahs are built for speed from the tip of their nose to the tip of their tail. They have a lot of different adaptations that allow them to reach up to those 60 to 70 mile per hour speeds. So you'll hopefully see Chi utilizing all of those adaptations. But when I first came out, you might have noticed I said it was a training run. So Chi is 12 years old. She is one of our original cheetahs that we have here since we first opened Cheetah Run in 2011, and she's been running ever since then. However, what we noticed is over the last few years, her run criteria that we usually look for, she started to come out slower and slower. So we wanted to work on that because we know she's capable of reaching those amazing speeds. So we do train our cheetahs how to run. And that might sound silly, being that they are the world's fastest land mammal, but just as you and I need to learn how to walk and run, so do cheetahs. So they learn through trial and error, through their failures and successes, and we help them along through that process using positive reinforcement training. Now, if you've never heard of that type of training before, it's a very common training technique. What it is we reinforce the reward, the behavior that we're looking for, which in this case is going to be a run. If there's any incorrect behavior, we just choose to ignore it. We always want to focus on the positive and set them up for success. So to set Chi up in order to sort of retrain her run, we took it back a couple steps. So we had to lower the criteria that we were looking for in order to build it up faster and faster. So what I mean by that is when we saw her criteria sort of start to decline, she was running right about here, and she was sort of trotting into the run. Now, we trained it to where she should start running right around here. A big difference, right? And she's been doing a phenomenal job with that. However, this run is always in training, regardless of where they are at in the process. It's always considered training because we always want to look for that highest criteria. And when they do that criteria, we want to reinforce them for a job well done. So today, you may see Chi run out here, but you may see us also catch the lure. So what the lure is the target that our cheetahs are going to be chasing. So once we have our lure equipment set up, that's what we're tying on, which is a bundle of feathers. It's pretty simple. It's just feathers that our bird trainers have donated to us, and we tie it on to that string. And it's paired with the positive reinforcement, so it's something very, very exciting that our cheetahs want to chase. Now, sometimes we will catch that feather lure instead of our cheetahs. And by doing so, they work a little bit harder the next time in order to come out and catch that feather lure. So that's possibly what you may see today, but if Chi shows us differently, she's going to do an amazing run. So we'll see. This is all part of that training, so you guys are getting to witness that training in action. But when she does come out here, she's going to be coming out of the gate in the far left-hand corner of the habitat. So that is where you're going to want to focus your eyes and cameras, all your attention, because that's where the action starts. Now cheetahs are, again, built for speed. They have lots of different adaptations that allow them to reach those top speeds. And they are sprinters, not marathon runners. So they can only maintain their top speeds for around 30 seconds to a minute tops. So it's probably one of the quickest presentations you'll see in the park today, but definitely one of the most impressive. And they are able to reach those top speeds in under 3 seconds. So they are amazing at accelerating. If you've gotten the chance to ride Cheetah Hunt today, you can experience what a cheetah experiences, because when they built that coaster, they model it after how a cheetah runs. So it's definitely pretty cool to experience, but definitely more amazing to see in person. So we are putting those finishing touches on the machine setup. I like that excitement. You're going to count down with me real loud from 5 and down to 1. Starting at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Nave. Give it up for her. She did a fantastic job. What a cheetah out in Africa would do. She has caught her a well-deserved prize. Like I said, those feathers don't have any nutritional content, but she's very proud of herself nonetheless, and she worked really hard to catch those feathers. So she's going to take it to a nice, comfortable spot where she can kind of take some time with him, catch her breath. Sometimes cheetahs expend so much energy during these runs that they can be too tired to chew. I don't know about you guys, I've never been too tired to chew my food, but that is something that kind of goes to show how much energy they expend in these short bursts of time. Now they are sprinters, not marathon runners, so they cannot sustain those speeds for very long, but they can definitely get to those top speeds just long enough for them to catch their prey. So it's really, really impressive. And they are really impressive hunters, and I always like to talk about that. Cheetahs are going to catch their prey about 50% of the time. That's actually higher than most other predators out in Africa. Lions, for example, only catch their prey about every 30% of the time. So that just kind of gives you an idea how successful these guys are when they are hunting, and that is all possible due to some really awesome adaptations that they have. So there's a lot of competition out in Africa. Animals like lions, hyenas, African painted dogs that they have to compete with. So they're going to try to avoid that competition, and how they do that is they are actually diurnal hunters, meaning that they prefer to hunt during the daytime hours, whereas other predators like lions or hyenas are going to hunt during the nighttime. So they have to have a few things to help them out with that. One of those is going to be that beautiful spotted coat that you guys see. They have those solid spots, which makes them different from a leopard or a jaguar that have more open spot patterns. And that actually helps them to blend in really well with the tall savanna grasses. You might also notice those black tear marks underneath their eyes. Those are what are called malar stripes. Those malar stripes act like a built-in pair of sunglasses and actually help to absorb the sun's rays so that they can see a lot better during those daytime hours where it's really bright, because obviously the sun can be really bright and hard to look at. So
they have a lot of cool things. They also have really special claws, and I always like to talk about that. They have what are called semi-retractable claws, which is different from normal cats, which will have retractable claws. So if you have a cat at home, you're probably a little more familiar with those. And those semi-retractable claws actually act more like a pair of cleats. They're more similar to a dog's claws, which is pretty cool. So what do you guys think? It was pretty cool to see Dave run here today, right? Woo. Yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed. That's really awesome. That's what we hope to hear, because by you guys showing us that you were really into this, you actually have now developed a connection with these wonderful animals, and cheetahs do need all the help that they can get because they are obviously a vulnerable species. So there are actually less than 7,000 cheetahs left in the wild today. So it is very important for us to care about these guys, because we are going to conserve what we care about. And it is really important to help these guys out in Africa. Now, cheetahs out in Africa aren't as lucky as our cheetahs here. Our cheetahs here obviously have all of the vet care that they can need. They have around-the-clock staff, and we also have a nutritionist that helps out. So we devote a lot of time and resources into making sure that these guys are safe. But we also need to donate that kind of stuff out to the cheetahs out in Africa. So if you guys are interested in helping out a little bit more, you're doing a really great job just by learning about cheetahs and falling in love with them. But we do have the SeaWorld Busch Gardens Conservation Fund. We work with a lot of amazing conservation partners throughout the world. And so they are really awesome. So if you are interested in that, you can actually round up to the nearest dollar at any of our gift shops if you're looking to buy a hat or a t-shirt today. So we appreciate you guys spending some time out here with us today. This was our last presentation of the day, but we will have cheetahs out here for free time. So if anyone wants to get some cool pictures of cheetahs out here, they will be out here for the rest of the day. But we appreciate you guys spending some time with us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day here at the park. Hi everyone.